What's up, guys? So it turns out I have a bit of a confession to make. Yeah. You see, I've owned my plane for almost 2 years now, and before I bought it, I had some preconceived notions of what I thought being an airplane owner would be. Well, turns out I wasn't right on everything. So let's go for a little flight, and I'll explain to you what I found out after 2 years of being a plane owner. Let's go.
All right, we got airspeed is alive, both places. 60, we're off the ground. Airspeed is safe. Avec Valkyrie, Foxtrot Charlie, Foxtrot Kilo, montée initiale 2-4, je vais monter en max de piste pour 1800 pieds. So the first misconception I had with owning a plane was that the family would be thrilled, including the wife and the kids. They would just be ecstatic, and we would fly all these great adventures. We'd go all over the place, and we would just create the most amazing memories. Well, it turns out that when you fly in the summer, it gets pretty hot in the low-wing plane. So the kids and the wife are not so much enjoying it. We've done a few trips so far. We've done a 2-hour flight was kind of the maximum that we've done. And both my kids passed out after 20 minutes, and then the wife started having headaches, and then she didn't really enjoy the time that we had once we got to the location. And as much as my son kind of enjoys flying, well, I think he enjoys more the idea of dad owning a plane more than actually coming with dad flying, especially in the summer when it gets really, really hot inside this little plane that's pretty much a bubble, and he finds it kind of unbearable, and he starts getting a bit like motion sickness due to the heat. I open the vents when he's sitting at the front. It still doesn't really help. I had to abort a flight. You know, we were supposed to go out and just do like a little tour that maybe was going to last an hour and a half. We had to turn around after like 20 minutes. He just couldn't do it anymore. At the end of the day, I've had some adventures, but they haven't been as epic as I thought they were, mostly because the plane's not necessarily fast enough, I guess, to compensate for just driving there, which is a lot easier on everyone. And so it has to be the right conditions, and we have to kind of plan it out. We're not flying out every weekend like I kind of was dreaming it was going to be. That just doesn't happen. The logistics of it aren't working out with the whole realities of a small plane, and especially this small plane, which I understand. The second thing I noticed was that I was expecting to bring all my friends flying. You know, I was like, oh, let's go fly. I'll show you downtown Montreal. It's amazing. You can do the circuit. You can fly over downtown. Beautiful sights. And it turns out being self-employed is great for my scheduling, but not everyone has the same scheduling as I do. I tend to have a lot of days off during the week. Most of my friends don't. They work more or less 9 to 5 type stuff, and they can't basically drop everything at the drop of a hat to kind of come out flying. And even if they can, the airport's positioned a bit outside of the city because I live outside of the city. So then that involves, for people that live in Montreal, that involves an hour drive to get to me. So if I'm telling them, hey, we should go fly in the morning when it's not bumpy like it is right now, we should go early. That way, you know, you're going to enjoy it, and it's not going to be like just a headache. And then, so when it comes to telling them, hey, you're going to be at my airport at 7 a.m. so we can have a nice early flight, a lot of them choke. To sum it up, flying with friends, if the schedule works out, great, but it doesn't happen as often as I wish it was going to happen. So flying alone is kind of mostly what you do when you own an airplane. I also want to take a moment to say a big thank you. Seriously, you guys have been amazing. To all the new subscribers, well, thank you. I appreciate it so much. This is like beyond what I was expecting from this endeavor. And I just want to say a big thank you for subscribing. And if you haven't, what are you waiting for? Seriously. The third thing I noticed, so I got this plane primarily for flight training. I wanted to build up my hours, get my commercial, get my IFR, all that fun stuff. And it turns out that yes, I am building up my hours. I'm building up my hours right now, which is great. However, it's been difficult finding an instructor that can and wants to instruct in a private plane. That's something I really didn't expect. I thought it was like easy peasy. You buy a plane, you call this flight school, you get your instructor, bada bing, bada boom, it's over. Unfortunately, that's not how it worked out. So I found instructors along the way, but then you know how that goes. People are only instructing to kind of get to the airlines. So they build up their hours, they get a job. they bugger off, and I completely understand. It's just the reality of the business, and then sometimes you're kind of forced to have to fly to a flight school because the instructors, how it works in Canada, there's like 4 classes. They're usually, when they're starting out, they're class 4. So class 4, they're only allowed to instruct when supervised directly by a flight school. So in my case, that's not exactly what I wanted. Like, I wanted to have an instructor be like, okay, let's meet up at my airport at that time, and then we'll fly out and we'll do our maneuvers, and then I come back, and then we each go our separate ways, and wow, it's bumpy. So that's been kind of hard to deal with, and plus just finding an instructor, period, that wants to do it. I had an amazing instructor. Actually, I had 2 so far in my career, and both of them went out to the airlines, and you know what, I totally get it, and you know, for them that was the goal, so it's great. It just makes this a little more complicated to sort out. Alright, so I don't want to be all like Debbie Downer. Sorry guys, that hasn't been the point. It hasn't all been bad, you know. To be honest, like everyone was saying, you know, aviation's crazy expensive, plane ownership is extremely expensive, and yes it is, but I guess everything is kind of relative. So I kind of came from racing cars, and you know, having a race car and maintaining a race car is expensive. Brakes, gas, everything. So at the end of the day, that budget that I was allocating kind of hasn't changed that much for the plane. Like, maybe I've been lucky so far. Piper Cherokee 140s are easy to maintain. But yeah, no, it hasn't been that bad. And I'm going to tell you the secret of why it hasn't been that bad. And this I haven't said before in the videos. So the secret is, I actually have a partner in this plane. So we're 2. So right there, every fixed cost that you usually have as a plane owner, I have split them in half right off the bat. So my insurance, in half. You know, annual, in half. So when that is taken into account, your only real costs that you're paying fully are your like fuel and oil, and you know, a little bit of money on the side for the engine and whatnot. Aviation's actually not that bad. Like, I priced it out, and I could do a video if you guys want. Put a comment below and tell me if you want me to do a proper price breakdown of how much it's costing me to fly my Piper Cherokee in a partnership. I'll do that for you. But it's been surprisingly affordable. If you do it right, if you're a bit lucky, and if you get a partner, it's more affordable than you would think. All right, so we're heading back to my home airport now, and just before I get ready to land, I want to touch on the aviation community, and that has been something I didn't even think about this actually when I first got my plane. Like, it wasn't even in my mind that this was going to be a thing. But aviation community has been insanely amazing. Like, wow, I can't say, you know, there's something about, I guess, humans when we have passions in common, and then those passions bring us together. And even though we're all from different walks of life, from different, you know, different backgrounds or whatnot, like, we have this one thing in common, and when we see each other, it's just insane. It's just amazing. I've been lucky enough to do a few like fly-ins and stuff, and I went to the COPA annual meeting. It was just amazing. Everyone is super nice, super helpful. You know, we have great Facebook groups. Everyone's giving out, you know, their tips. So wow, amazing, amazing, amazing. And that, like I said, I had no idea that was a thing. There's so much amazing things about everyone in the community that, like, you have to get involved. I'll cover some fly-ins this summer. That's kind of the plan. Right now, it's like spring's around the corner, so I'm just kind of getting my wings back under me, I'm going to say. But then, like, the real party is going to start as soon as all the snow is gone. Then it's going to be crazy flights. We're going to fly out places. I want to explore Quebec. I want to explore Canada. I want to, like, just go everywhere. That's the plan. Now you guys get to watch me try to land this thing butter smooth. And because I said that, it's probably not going to work out. All right, let's do this. All right, we will slow her down. Make a notch flaps. Airspeed is good. And we're descending. And there we go. A little bit of crosswind coming from that way. Show you guys how good I've gotten at this. And nice and stable. Field is made. We'll cut the power.
Well, that did turn out to be a nice landing, but it isn't always the case. So if you want to see me work for it in some crosswind conditions, check out my commercial cross-country flight over here. And that's going to be it for my 5 airplane owner confessions. Thanks for coming along, and fly safe.